All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Now I'll come out of the gates and challenge you again
Uh-huh.
because I moved to my other Mac because we were having I was having some performance issues.
Yeah.
So, Claude's on here. I installed the Expo Go
All right.
and Xcode, which, by the way, I had to watch our own video to remember how to install everything, and it was very helpful. So,
Good, good. It's good to know that our own video was helpful to you. So hopefully that means it's helpful to everybody else too.
exactly. But now, while I'm in here, I don't see, so it doesn't give me the history like I had on my other Mac.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's another learning lesson, Derek, which is we're back. Maybe it's a different computer or whatever. Someone
Hmm.
forgot a session. So what do
Yep.
we do next?
Yep. So some of the things that I do to mitigate that sort of thing going from machine to machine is version control does help that. So if you have a GitHub account and then you create a repo and then you do all of this work in that you do all this work in that repo, then you can have Claude do things like save more documentation or say, hey, save some notes or do whatever documentation so that I can go to other machines
Yeah.
and be able to pick up where I left off.
We should do a an episode on that too,
Yes.
because
Yep.
you had mentioned it before. Um, okay, that's good to know.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So all right. So where are we at here
So
now?
so when we left the last time,
Hmm.
we well, the last time we had to download all that stuff
Right.
because Claude was saying, "Okay, now run whatever we had on, the simulator."
Hmm.
So I guess we got to get back to that point.
Okay. Well, it looks like you did copy over the SDLC doc, right?
The Expo Go thing?
Um, no, the documentation that we created in one of the
Yes.
episodes.
I, that's all. That's so all the documentation's on this computer and
Okay.
everything. Yep.
All right. So let's do this then. And I assume everything you put everything into one folder.
Yep. Yep.
And it doesn't matter if it's in one folder or not. It just makes it easier.
Actually,
Um,
yeah. Let me show you because this is actually pretty cool. What it does. Oh yeah, this is cool because there's the different folders for the
yeah.
design and the different assets.
Yep. So I would actually start off. The first thing we should do is tell Claude to review that folder because we moved this project from another computer and to get familiar with the documentation or get familiar with the project.
You
And
see
so
how
while
you see how nicely I can type on my normal sized keyboard.
yes, yes. Um, and while it doesn't have the context of that other conversation, it will
Uh-huh.
build new context, right? From scanning the code and looking at the various documentation. So, and I think it's always important because one of the key things with working with AI is context. It's the content that you have available for your LLM of choice. In this case, Claude. So I always like to start with either a session with getting Claude acclimated with the project,
Right.
or files, code, whatever, and then that's all kind of in its memory and in its session context for the future as you keep, you know, developing within the conversation.
So I didn't know. I had made the assumption that the conversation I was having
Hmm.
it with Claude in the other on my other computer
Yep.
would move over here, like it does for the chats do that, but not
Yes.
necessarily this.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Claude, yes. So that is an important thing to realize that Claude Code does not function that way without some work. Now you can do sessions in the cloud. Now the cloud sessions, yes, if you go from machine to machine, will be available, but anything that you do locally on your machine will not.
Ah, okay, that's a really important
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
why if you have a repo in GitHub or what your favorite, version control software that's in the cloud, then you would just uh, you know clone that repo back on your new machine with all the files already there and the version history and everything that you've done historically in that project, will be
Okay.
available to you.
It says sprint 0 and 1 are done, which is basically the design, and then
Right.
sprint 2 is next. Now, this is interesting because it says it's talking about Supabase and
Right.
Tan Stack,
Right.
but it doesn't mention the Expo Go stuff.
Yes. So yes, this is a good place to kind of nudge it. And this is very interesting because earlier today, had a conversation with someone else who, the whole hallucination thing, right? So definitely, this is some hallucination going on here, right? So the way that I deal with that, and it's funny because I haven't had to really think about hallucinations in a long time, and it's because the light bulb went off, and I have a skill that I've created called ground in facts, and what it does is it forces Claude, and you could use this ground in facts with, and you could use it with ChatGPT or anything else, but it explicitly forces and tells Claude not to hallucinate and to always verify or check whatever it's doing or whatever information it's going to bring back against facts.
Really, you know what you got to do now is you got to explain to everybody what a skill is.
Yes. All right. So skills are amazing things, right? In just talking about it generally as human beings having skills. So the concept has been extended to Claude, and now you've seen other platforms, and you hear it kind of like in the everyday language and talk about LLMs and these tools is building skills. And what skills are very like, if you have like narrowly focused tasks or abilities or whatever it is that you want Claude to do, you literally write it as a prompt. Now actually, you know what? We should go through this exercise now, actually. So if you go into Claude and you do slash, I think it's slash skill builder, skill creator. Okay.
Skill creator. All right.
Yep. So what will happen is, right, it will create a skill, which like I said, at the end of the day, is really just a prompt. And then that skill becomes available to Claude. And as you see it, as we build it, you'll see the different parts of the skill. So it'll have like trigger words that invoke the skill. So if you think about it, right, it's like, again, let's go back to our cooking analogies, right? You have, I assume, like one of the skills of a chef is the ability to chop, right? So
Yeah.
your knife skills, right?
Yeah.
So you may have, I guess, a Julian skill.
Oh, the Julienne, sure.
Yes. And what are some others? Because I've already run out of my knife skills, and I need you to rescue me with.
The Brunois, the Mirepoix, those are all different cuts.
All right. And those are all different skills, right? So, and you use those skills depending on whatever it is that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess, right, if you are making, whatever recipe, right? If you're chopping up vegetables, I guess that's when you would do a julienne.
Sure, you got it.
Yeah. And then, right, and then what are the other cuts? How
The
do they?
Mirepoix is like a big chunk, so when you're making stock, you just chop up vegetables real big, throw them in the pot. The Brunois is when you're getting really fancy and you make a super, super tiny dice.
Excellent. Right. And so, depending on the situation, you invoke the appropriate knife skill. So same sort of thing. So given, and that's what some of the trigger words and things that are part of the anatomy of the skill that again we'll see is, hey, okay, when do I use this skill? How do I use it? And all that gets built into that skill file. And so whenever you're doing something that triggers that skill, then Claude will go look at it and then have that in context with whatever it is that you're doing, and then send it up and do everything based on leveraging that particular skill and whatever instructions are in the skill.
Is the skill universal? Does it become universal to Claude Code or specific to a thing you're working on?
So depending on where you put the skill file that gets created, it changes what's called the scope, right?
Okay.
So you can, excuse me. So you can have the skill installed on your machine, so it's like available to Claude in whatever chat and whatever project that you're working in, or you can have the skill file live specifically in the folder with which you're working in as far as the project, and it just becomes project scoped. And then you can actually, I think, get down to like a folder level, so subfolders within, and then that skill will only be invoked on that particular folder.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. So let's create this ground in facts skill.
Okay.
So yeah. So all right. So now we've invoked the skill creator and say something to the effect of I want to create a skill that makes sure that as you're developing, you do not hallucinate, and that you always verify. Hallucinate, and you always verify. See if we can enhance that just a little bit more. You always verify facts, figures, and anything else related to the project that I'm working in. And you have the freedom to check the internet and any files that you need for verification. And I think that'll be good enough to get us a good framework for this. I also have another skill that I call a prompt enhancer, which will be something for another episode to share.
Okay.
We can get into that, but I also find that to be very helpful in my work because as human beings, sometimes we get a little lazy as far as creating a prompt.
Yeah.
And so I can create a skeleton of a prompt, kind of like my ideas or high level thoughts, put it in there, invoke the prompt enhancer skill, and it rewrites the prompt with a lot more, should I say, a lot more meat to it.
Oh,
and then,
interesting.
And then I can, I can review that and enhance it until it's, the way I want it, and then run that as the prompt.
Yeah. Huh. Even this prompt, or even this skill is kind of fascinating because
Right.
it's not super prescriptive.
Yeah.
It's a little like, just make sure you're not bullshitting me, kind of.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so it should be able to just run it now, and I can, while it's running, dive a little bit deeper into why you would have to do this, right? Because for some of you out there, may be wondering, well, why would I even want to do this? Like, why would I, it doesn't make sense. Like, it should always, give me the facts. It shouldn't hallucinate. Well, again, and as we go along these episodes, I'll keep reminding people and keep saying, when you deal with AI, right, because it's artificial intelligence, it's mimicking humans, to treat it like it's a human. And here's what I mean, is that, we all know folks who have vast amounts of knowledge, right? But nobody's knowledge is perfect. So if you ask somebody on the spot, a very difficult question, they would have to rely on what's in their memory, right? And so maybe they'll give you a great answer, or, we know some people who are bullshitters and they can, give you an answer that sounds true, but it's not. So
Yeah.
it's almost that sort of thing. But if you said, hey, you ask that person a question and say, hey, I'll give you an extra 5 minutes. You can go to any resources to make sure that you verify what you were about to say or verify facts before coming back to me, it could potentially be a very different answer, right? And so again, the way LLMs work, they have a specific what they call it, being fancy, corpus, right? So it just means fancy word for like library of knowledge that they have, and so they can go against just kind of their memory of what they have, or right, if you give it that option to go verify, it can say, okay, here's what I think it is, but let me go check before I answer.
Wow. I mean, it really is where, the line of like, well, this could get super philosophical. We might even have to cover this in a whole other episode. But the idea of a thing, you're going to a thing because you want to make your work more efficient and theoretically do it better.
Yeah.
But it also, like you're saying, has a human quality that you need to. I mean, that's what makes it, like you said, artificial intelligence or like a person. They're not always.
Yeah.
They're not always right.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the cognitive dissonance that folks are having, and that's just like basically just the mental struggle, right, that they're having or some people in accepting AI, because I think there's this thing that's been built up that computers are perfect or near perfect, right? They're supposed to be as close as perfect as as you can possibly get.
Right.
But when you're in the AI, especially the generative or LLMs, like a subset of or it falls under the umbrella of like generative AI. Yeah, generative AI, and they'll even say it is non-deterministic, which just means that you could give it a prompt and it'd come back with an answer, and it's possible that you could give it the exact same prompt on a different day and it could give you a slightly different answer, right? It's not, the input doesn't give a specific output all the time.
Right. Right. It's not a math formula per se.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. As you can see, shame on me. I didn't follow episode 3, 4, where we set the permissions.
Set up. Yes.
Yeah. I got to do that after this.
Yes, and so we get to see what happens if you don't do that.
Oh my God, this is maddening.
Questions, yes. Which I said in the beginning, I would read through everything, but as I've gotten to trust Claude, is why I'm like, just accept all.
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
You see this? While I wait, let me note something interesting. The baseline agents are also reading files before answering, which means the verify first behavior is partially already in Claude's behavior. Listen, you're pissing Claude off there, all right? It's already doing the job.
Wait a minute, I already do this. No, you don't. It does to a degree, but yes. And with the conversation I had with the person earlier, that this has been like a game changer for me personally, because I would run into a lot of hallucination issues often enough, not all the time, but often enough that it was annoying. But since I've created this type of skill and invoked it, because it gets invoked I have it set up where it's global, right? So every time, and as you watch, as Claude goes through its thinking and its printing, I think 100% of the time at some point I've seen it go, oh, let me invoke the ground in facts. So it's very rare that I get hallucinations these days.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, so, and like you were talking about, so we created that skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's specific. The way we did it, is it specific to Uncle Ernie, or?
It will probably, automatically make it, scope it to Uncle Ernie, but we can actually tell it to make it available when it's done and once you okay it.
This is interesting. I mean, this isn't like a small thing that it's building there.
It's not.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, there we go. All right. Yep. So this is the format. So it's called it. You just gave it a name on its own, dev fact check. You can always, rename it or have it rename it. But yeah, so you see it's the description, and then it gives it kind of like a persona there. you're a developer who verifies before claiming, blah, blah, blah.
Now, what is the trigger for it using that?
I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly with the format, there should be like somewhere in here as we go through, it should talk about how it gets triggered.
I don't know. I don't think that's a problem to trigger at the start of any coding session. That's
Yeah.
what
Yep.
you were saying. That's the whole
Yep.
point, really.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All
yes,
right.
I think it automatically saved it to this project. Um,
Okay.
Yep. But I think
We'll
you can
see.
ask it to install it for everything. But
We'll do that for another episode about creating skills. I got a few things I've written down for other
Nice.
episodes.
Nice.
Okay. So now we got our skill.
Yes. So
Uh,
so now I would have it acquaint itself with the project.
Okay.
Hopefully now it will pick up on all the stuff that it should have picked up on before. Did we have something in there about Supabase? No,
I don't remember Supabase at all.
yeah, interesting.
Because that's the back end, right, for all the data?
Yeah. Okay, I see what's happening. Yes. So okay, fair enough. Yes. So at some point it made the decision on its own that it's going to use Supabase for the database to back the application, but it does look like it did pick up on Expo.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So yep.
Where do you see the expo thing?
So it looks, see Sprint 0 there.
Yeah.
Expo
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And that's
Okay.
done. Yep. So it's giving us where we are currently in the build.
So should we suggest to it that, hey, we were still trying to work with Expo Go when we left last time?
Yep. And then get those instructions to launch it again, and yep. And you're in accept edits mode. Like I said, I tend to live dangerously, but actually, auto mode is a newer mode, and what auto mode will do is actually decide what mode it needs to be in on its own. So it's actually for folks who are not as, they're a little leery. Auto mode tends to be a good place to live as well too.
All right. All right. So now let's see. Open the terminal, navigate to the project, start the Expo dev server. That's it. Expo Go will launch automatically in the simulator. If npx isn't found, try npm. All right, Derek.
All right, now actually, and again, remember we're trying to do this from the standpoint of folks who aren't as technical. So Claude can do all of that for you if you let it. So I would just ask it, hey, can you do this for me?
While it's doing that, can we talk about what it said to do real quick?
Sure.
Open the terminal. We talked about that in the last
Yeah.
episode.
Mm-hmm. And then
Start the
and then
Expo
they want
dev-
you to navigate to the folder that holds the project.
Okay. Start the Expo dev server.
Yep.
So that's the Expo app, not this thing right here, not the simulator.
Correct.
Expo. Put this command in there, right?
Yep.
You basically put this command in there, and then you put this command in there.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Node isn't installed. God.
So yeah, so I assume we did go through all that on your other machine. So yeah, so we will need Node on this machine.
Node.js? Good Lord. Give me a second here.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I always like getting your dev box set up is always kind of like such this pain, right? But once you get everything set up, then it's like everything's smooth sailing from there, right?
Yeah.
But it's always just getting all the necessary tools and SDKs and libraries and all that stuff, which is why sometimes we'll set up like, dev box images where you can just like, copy it in, essentially copy paste.
I mean, I find it fascinating because it does go back to the cooking analogy of having everything in its place, and when you don't,
Yeah.
you run into these problems. And And learning the skill to get everything in place is its own skill.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
The anticipate. Well, this is also the theater. We're building the
Yes.
anticipation over several episodes.
Yes.
iOS development target and app config is set to 15.1, but the installed version of exo, oh, that's this,
Yeah.
requires 16.4. Interesting. Did we tell it to do 15?
I forget. We must have, but
I think
it's fixing
I have-
it. So
Yeah, I have some vague recollection that we did do that.
yeah. Now again, you can ask it to run it for you, or if you're like, you know what, I'll go ahead and do that.
Let's have a little fun and
All
open
right.
the.
Well, no, all right. So before you do that, then,
Okay.
all right. So if you go up top where the little play thing for the preview is,
Oh, right
one
here.
of those is the terminal. Yep. So the one furthest to the left, that little. Yep.
Oh.
So they have a terminal built right in, so you don't have to go
Oh my
far.
goodness. Dude, when I was doing my kids app, I was taking forever to do that.
Yes. Now this is something that they've evolved. I wouldn't say. I mean, it's been around for a little bit, but maybe about a couple months
Uh-huh.
because it wasn't there before. And then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
might
Make
as
a
well.
little shortcut.
Yeah.
Oh, it's doing something. Wait a minute.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh baby.
Uh-oh. It's anticipation. Yeah, and these tend to take a long time to build initially. If I remember correctly, Expo React Native apps.
That's what it's doing right now.
Okay.
No, I'm saying to you.
Oh
if that
yeah,
was-
yeah. Can you scroll down on the? Is it like doing a bunch of stuff down there? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yep. So that you'll see that when it hits 100%, it should be pretty darn ready to go. Uh-oh.
Oh, cannot find native module expo-linking. Blah,
Yep.
blah, blah.
Yep. So there's a missing library. So you can. Oh, so tell Claude to look at the terminal and fix the error, please. And that's one of the advantages of using the terminal within Claude because it actually has hooks into it and it can read it. What is it? Tell it to use the integrated terminals. I don't know if it's trying to use like your. Well,
Right.
it's, I guess let's say it's rerunning it itself, but it will catch on to whatever's going on. Type clear, all lowers.
Oops.
Yeah, because that's you're actually still in the. It's active with that session, so
It will not let me.
is there a?
type-
Can you close that? You want to close Expo Go or to kill that session? Does it say up there how to in the terminal there? Is there somewhere in there like a command that it says to like kind of to kill? Well, do the Control C or Command C depends on how you have your thing set up. We'll just kill that process.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Which one works? Was it Control C or Command?
Command C.
Command C. Okay. Now you
Alright.
should be able to.
Do this.
Yep.
Okay.
Because then, what else? What were you supposed to do? And what was your answer supposed to be?
It says the answer was supposed to be no.
It didn't prompt.
Run this on your terminal and answer N when prompted. Oh, N.
Okay.
Okay. And doesn't do anything.
Yeah, because I was saying it's not even prompting you really. It's ready to like rock and roll.